The 2026 session is underway here in Atlanta, and if there's one thing we have to know as gun owners here in Georgia, it's this. 2026 is going to be a massive year in the fight for gun rights, not just with the elections that are coming very quickly, but also the legislature, which convened earlier today. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with Georgia Gun Owners. I'm going to give you a 30,000-foot view on where things stand right now today here in Georgia in the fight for gun rights. And to be very honest, it's not pretty, and you're not going to like it. But you have to know, I think, where things stand right now. House Republicans here in Georgia haven't passed a single pro-gun bill in almost 4 years now. Not since constitutional carry in 2022, 4 years since anything good has passed out of the Georgia House. We've had Republicans in the House file gun control. We've had Republicans in the House grant hearings on gun control bills to Democrats, but they have not moved a single pro-gun bill. This is not the fault of the Democrats. More on them in a few minutes. This is Speaker Jon Burns and the Majority Leader, Chuck Efstration. These guys are the problem. They are convinced. They have told me in their office, in pre-session meetings, they believe that the only way they can save their suburban seats is to go totally soft, totally beta, and stab gun owners in the back. They actually believe that Democrat voters in these suburban seats will vote for GOP incumbents as long as there's no pro-gun votes on their record. I sat there and heard this. I could not believe it. It's totally wrong. It's lunacy. Look how well that worked out for our Public Service Commission races last November, but nevertheless, that's what they believe. Now, in the Senate, it's a different story. But the House right now, it's a dumpster fire for gun owners here in Georgia. And that weakness has created a major vacuum. And the gun control activists and Democrats here in Atlanta are rushing in to fill this. They're very organized. They have lots of numbers. And this session, they're coming with a stack of gun control bills. And their goal now is to work every day to get a few rhinos in both chambers to cross over and support their agenda. So this session, GGO is going to fight a kind of a two-front war, I guess, at the same time. On the one hand, we have to expand gun rights where we can, but we have to also block gun control bills at the exact same time. There's 5 main bills, in my opinion, our team's opinion, you have to be aware of. 5 issues that we have to be aware of right now. 2 are offensive, 3 are defensive. So hold fast. First the good news, then the bad news. On the offensive side, we have got to deal with our preemption law. You guys all know what this is about. Preemption law says only the legislature can pass laws that regulate the Second Amendment here in Georgia. Firearms, ammo, accessories, that is the legislature's exclusive domain. But of course, as you know, Savannah Mayor Van Johnson got way too big for his admittedly very big britches. He violated this law openly, very publicly, and he passed his own city-level storage law, and then he's charged 42 people under this unconstitutional, illegal statute. Now, of course, the courts, as you may know, struck this law down, this ordinance, I should say, down last November, but the issue remains. And the problem is really simple. We have this preemption law, but there's no penalties. And to be honest, I don't fault anybody in the legislature for doing that back in the day, because believe it or not, there was a time, when we actually expected that city governments would follow the law. And so we kind of thought that when Atlanta passes a bill and the governor signs it, the cities would actually obey it. Those days are gone. Atlanta thinks they run the show. We all know that. Probably COVID did that. But either way, those days are gone. And so we have got to have civil penalties in the law. We did that last session. SB 163 passed the Senate. It got over to the House, and Speaker Burns slow-rolled the hell out of it, and it died on the last day of session 2025. So we have to fix that. The problem will keep coming back up again and again and again. At the same time, on the offensive side of the coin, our stand your ground law is not near as strong as a lot of gunners might like to think. Right now in Georgia, we do not receive the presumption of innocence in the wake of a self-defense shooting. Let me say that again. This is America. If you run a red light and you get a ticket for it, you're presumed innocent. The government has to prove your guilt in a court of law. It's a speeding ticket, but if you want to have a jury trial, you can have a freaking jury trial because you're presumed innocent. The government has to prove your guilt. But that's not the case when it comes to self-defense laws. We are actually presumed guilty, and we have to prove that our actions were appropriate in a court of law. 18 states have already undone that and granted the presumption of innocence to gun owners. Unfortunately, Georgia is not on the list. That's problem number one. But we do not have a real criminal immunity statute in our self-defense laws. We should not be able to be charged. We should be immune from charges if the force we used was lawful. We do not have that in a meaningful capacity right now here in Georgia. And finally, for the most part, you can't really even use stand your ground law until the appellate phase after you've been convicted of some bogus charge of murder or whatever it is for the crime, in air quotes, the crime of self-defense. So our bill would fix all of this. It fixes all of it. And it says, number one, we're presumed innocent. The government has to prove our guilt. Number two, we have real criminal immunity in the code. And number three, we have a pre-trial immunity hearing that we can use before we go to court and say, Your Honor, my client admits he shot this person. Here's the reason why. Here's the evidence. We are immune. We should not even be here. And if the judge agrees, that's it. You walk. We walk. Save ourselves a year, 2, 3 years of hell on earth because we have pre-trial immunity. That's our big secondary initiative this session as session kicks off. But like I said, unfortunately, we have to spend some real time this session being on guard against Democrat gun control bills. There's 3 big bills you should be aware of. The first one is House Bill 64, mandatory civil liability insurance to own a gun in Georgia. This bill would literally make it a crime to buy or carry a firearm in Georgia unless we first purchase $1 million in civil liability insurance. This is not a hypothetical. Other states have already passed this law. It's being pushed right now in 3 or 4 states that we know of, and now it's come here to Georgia. This is totally bullshit. It's absolutely unconstitutional. It will not stop a single crime. You know what? The Democrats know that. They don't care. It's part of their goal of disarming every single one of us because they're tyrants and they want to be tyrannical. Their second big bill in the Senate is SB 19. This is a mandatory 10-day waiting period to buy a firearm here in Georgia. So 10 days you have to wait. And if you skirt that somehow, you would be the one committing a crime. It just kind of occurs to me, when I go to the Capitol on behalf of GGO members, or when Alex goes there, we park usually in the Pete Hackney garage. Now, it's about 3 blocks away from the Capitol. If you know downtown, you know what I'm talking about. And every time I have to walk from the Pete Hackney to the Capitol, I wonder, is today the day I'm going to get shivved in the ribs by a drugged out psycho who's sleeping on the sidewalk as I walk past them? The entire downtown corridor is a disgusting crap hole now because of Democrat policies. And so I think about these guys, these criminals, these crazy people. Do the Democrats honestly believe that these people are going to wait 10 days to buy a gun? Of course not. Of course not. They know it will not stop a single criminal. It's only going to impact us. The only folks who'll be harmed by this, killed by this, will be regular moms and dads, young women, whatever, in Georgia who have to defend themselves, especially women, from violent predators because we are the ones who have to wait 10 days to buy a gun. Absolutely absurd. Despite that, almost the entire Democrat Senate caucus has signed off on this bill as a co-sponsor, and they're actively shopping for Rhino support right now in the Senate. It's ridiculous. The last one, the big one, red flag gun seizures. After all, what self-respecting, gun-grabbing commie Democrat could resist trying to take away our guns through these bogus hearings? In the Senate right now, we have SB 92, which allows judges, I used to say liberal judges, but they're all liberal these days. So it allows judges here in Georgia to order the seizure of our firearms before we've been charged or convicted of a crime. These hearings take place in civil court. They're designed to bypass the more aggressive due process rights we have in criminal court. So you have no jury, you have no chance to confront your accusers, and these are secret ex parte proceedings you don't even know about until it's all over. 13 states have them, including Florida and Indiana. And so every time you hear a gun owner say, oh, it's okay, we're never going to see a red flag law passed, we have a Republican legislature. Well, first of all, do we? I mean, we have a rhino legislature, at least in the House. Do we really have a Republican legislature? And number two, even if that's true, they had a massive majority in Tallahassee when those Republicans passed red flags in 2018. Do we really believe that our Republican leadership team, especially in the House, has the guts to oppose this, especially in the wake of a mass shooting? I don't believe that for a second. You shouldn't either. We are committed to making sure Georgia never adopts any form of red flag gun seizures. So, guys, kind of to sum this whole thing up, the gun control advocates are surging here in Atlanta right now because the GOP leaders in the House are weak. Democrats are pushing very hard. We're in kind of a two-front war right now, trying to advance freedom where we can, but to hold the line where we must. And it shouldn't be that way. This is Georgia. This is a red state. We should be on offense all the time, but we're not because of the makeup of who we have right now in the Georgia House. So the key here, as always, it's always been this way, it's GGO Nation. If our members get loud and stay loud, we can bludgeon these idiots. I mean, politically speaking, for the humor impaired, we can bludgeon them into stopping these gun control bills, and maybe we can move some pro-gun bills. That's our leverage. So right now, we need two things from all of you. Number one, hit the link below and sign your pre-written email demanding that Rhino lawmakers and the good ones, especially that dozen or so in both chambers who are running statewide for office right now, get off their ass and pass pro-gun bills in the legislature. And secondly, if you can, chip in $10, $20, whatever you can to help us mobilize more gun owners across the state. We're using videos like this. We're using text alerts, email campaigns, direct mail, the works, but we have to have your help to scale up these programs. Don't forget, these politicians work for us. They love to forget that. Help us remind them of that in this 2026 session.